Part of my responsibilities are to look after the Border Force Maritime Command, and we're standing in front of Her Majesty's Cutter Protector, which is one of the 5 vessels that forms part of our Maritime Command. The rest of my role involves looking after ports and airports in the south of the UK, so from Gatwick as my largest port, right down to Fishguard and Pembroke in the west of Wales, and everything in between.
So your bread and butter, insofar as maritime affairs are concerned, would be sort of looking after the waters around the UK mainland?
Yes, that's right. I mean, normally our cutters are on patrol around the shores of the UK, and we're looking to interdict drug smugglers, human traffickers, people who seek to enter the country illegally or who seek to bring goods into the country illegally, which would prove a problem for our border security.
And if we can move on to sort of some of the work that your crews have just returned from off the coast of Italy, humanitarian work in part,
Yes.
Must have been very difficult on a human level to deal with because of the dire conditions that a lot of the people trying to reach mainland Europe find themselves in.
Yes, that's absolutely right. The officers are dealing with people, many of whom are very vulnerable. There's a lot of elderly people, sick people, pregnant women, lots of very small children, including babies in arms, that they're rescuing from boats. Some of their journeys, they've been at sea for maybe 20 days, and depending on how much they've paid the facilitators and the organised crime gangs that bring them to Italy, they may have been surviving on as little as a cup of water a day. And for those who pay the least, they may be kept in under the deck in holds, and their conditions are really dire and really quite distressing, not only for them but for the officers who are rescuing them from those conditions.
And this forms part of a Europe-wide response organised through customs agencies across Europe? Yes,
that's right. We've taken part in the Frontex response, and Frontex is the European Union's customs agency. The UK joins with Frontex for some of its work, not for all of it, but this humanitarian plight was so great that we needed to be part of it. But I think it's important to also remember, we've talked about the organised crime gangs who are getting a lot of money and getting very rich on the plight of these individuals, and we're seeing that the work that we can do, because we are law enforcement officers and not just mariners, we can actually provide evidence of that organised crime workings. We can identify facilitators who are the ones collecting the money, and we can identify them to the Italian authorities for them to be prosecuted.
And given that this work falls outside the remit of the bread and butter of your organisation, how have the crews responded to it?
I've been so impressed with what the crews have done. I'm incredibly proud of everything that they've achieved in the Mediterranean. They have taken their normal operating procedures, they've come to the Mediterranean, they've worked on what they need to do to be able to transfer the migrants safely, and they've worked in conditions where we've had up to 40 degrees heat. They are wearing full protection suits and they're on deck for hours looking after the migrants, rescuing the migrants. I'm enormously proud of what they've done.